Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News. I have the pleasure to be joined by Tony Sims after a tough session in a Matchroom Gym today. Tony, how are you and how was your Christmas as well, mate?
Yeah, all good, Regan. I was here on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, so I ain't really been outside the gym, unfortunately, but made Christmas dinner after the gym anyway, so that was the main thing.
I was going to say, mate, at least you enjoyed some of the day as well, mate. I mean, there was some sparring in here. Yeah, as you said, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Conor, Jimmy, George and John all preparing for fights as well.
Yeah, so John's fighting, obviously, Munguia on January the 27th in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And then a week later, on the 3rd of Feb, Conor Benn tops the bill in Las Vegas at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. That's against Peter Dobson, the unbeaten American, and Jimmy Sains and George Liddard are both fighting on the undercard, so it's a big night for them two young ones as well.
Definitely. I don't know how many. Obviously, you had Joe in Monaco as well a couple of weeks ago. But how important is it for kind of Jimmy and George to have those kind of international fights so early on in their career as well?
Yeah, it's really important. I took Conor Benn out to New York when he was young in his career. He had a second round KO in New York, and it just gets them ready for when if they fight in the big fights internationally. It just gets them ready for that occasion, and because obviously there's a time change when you get there, and you got to acclimatise to the conditions there. So it'd be a great experience for them this young in their career.
Definitely. I do want to kind of move on to kind of a semi-end of year review for your fighters as well. We'll start with kind of Joe Cordina. I mean, it is the International Boxing News Fight of the Year against Rakhimov. Unbelievable fight. And then a solid defence against Vasquez as well. I mean, a very good year for Joe.
Great year for Joe. Obviously, we know the year before that he got stripped of his belt because he broke his hand, and he regained the belt against Rakhimov, and as you say, it was like fight of the year. It was a great fight. It was backwards and forwards. He was a tough guy, Rakhimov, and obviously he finished the year by defending his belt against Vasquez in Monaco. So Joe's had a fantastic year, and going into 2024, he's looking at going into some big fights.
Obviously, he's mentioned before kind of he wants the biggest fights possible, obviously with the most amount of kind of reward, obviously financially and or belts as well. Kind of what would be the fight for that you would pick for Joe if it could be made?
Probably at the minute, like the Lamont Roach fight where he just won the WBA title. Navarrete, obviously WBO champion. That'd be a good fight for him, and just trying to unify the belts really. And trying to get one in big fights, but we'll just see what comes along in 2024.
Definitely, mate. Obviously, I want to move on to the Gorilla, John Ryder. I mean, just the one fight this year, but a huge fight against Canelo Alvarez, and then obviously performed so well that he's got another huge fight against Jaime Munguia as well in where's my notes? In Phoenix, Arizona as well. I mean, big year for John this year, and then a huge kind of start to 2024 as well.
Yeah, massive fight for him. As we know, Munguia's a former world champion, and unbeaten in 40-odd fights. So it's a massive fight for John. Again, being the away fighter going into the other guy's backyard. It's going to be held in the Phoenix Suns basketball stadium, which is a big stadium. And it's going to be a big fight, you know. And if he comes through that fight, then he'd just be looking for bigger things later on in the year. But you know, I think with age, John's actually getting better with age. He's very smart. He's always kept himself in great condition, and he's looking forward to this fight.
Definitely. There's been talks. I remember speaking to Charlie about this, that kind of Team Munguia are already kind of looking at that Canelo fight for May after. I mean, do you, with kind of these rumours going about, obviously we don't know how much truth there is, but do you think they're kind of overlooking John potentially?
It is difficult when you've got like a carrot dangled in front of you like the Canelo fight, because you know, you fight Canelo, John's fought Canelo, anyone who's fought Canelo, it changes your life financially. So you start getting that name put in front of you, and they're obviously saying to him, if you beat Ryder, you'll get the fight, and that'll change his whole life. So you know, it will be a little bit on the back of his mind a lot when he's training. But listen, he's a good fighter, he's an unbeaten fighter, and John's got to be in the best condition mentally and physically he can be to overcome Munguia. And you know, as I say, he's going into his backyard, so it's going to be a really hard fight. And but like John, as I say, John's up for the fight, and he's boxed away so many times now in other people's backyards that, you know, it's nothing new to John, and he'll be in great condition for the fight.
He definitely will. I do want to move on to Conor Benn as well. He's just had his fight announced with Peter Dobson as well. But then he's also announced a huge one with, he's come back after 18 months out against Orozco as well. Huge fight. Yeah,
as you say, he fought Orozco in September. It was a tough fight. He was a big lump, Orozco, and he held his shot well, and Conor connected with some big shots on him, and he held up. And you know, with this fight, he's fighting an unbeaten American, 16-0, and it'd be in Las Vegas, so it'd be Conor's first fight in Vegas, topping the bill. And he's getting himself in great condition now, and he'll be looking forward to the fight.
Definitely. Kind of why was kind of Peter Dobson the right opponent for kind of this point in Conor's career as well? Obviously, he's had the 18 months out, the Orozco win, big fights ahead later on in the year. But why was Peter Dobson the right fight for Feb 3?
Well, I got presented with a few different names, and just I picked out the unbeaten American because a few of the others they presented me had a few losses on their record, and you know, it's about trying to get the right fight in a minute while you're ticking over, waiting for a big fight, you know. And it's Darren Barker, by the way, that is. I'll ring him back in a minute. Yeah, so it's just about getting the right fight, decent fighter with a decent record. As we know, we've been trying to do the Eubank fight for the last couple of months, and it never materialised. And Matchroom had the Feb 3rd date, so it was wise to jump on that date, get an opponent, and then obviously wait for a bigger fight later on in the year. So that's what we'll be doing.
Definitely, mate. Obviously, my last couple, Tony, as well. Obviously, MaiseyRose and Georgia Liddard. Obviously, two fighters fought 4 times this year. I've been saying to a lot of people, I think, apart from Moses Atauma, I don't think there's many prospects that have fought as many times as Maisey and George. But big things to come for in 2024, and making that kind of push the titles as well for both of them. Yeah,
like George is on the Las Vegas card as well, and he's got the 6-rounder on there. So that'd be great experience for George, and he's only 21 years old. He's young, you know, and he's progressing really well. As you say, he's been kept busy, and he's had a little break since his last fight, and now he'll be coming fresh into this one. MaiseyRose is going to fight in February at some stage. She's going to do her first 8-rounder. She's very young as well. She's 22 compared to a lot of women fighters at the moment. They're like in their 30s, so they're trying to jump and get a move on because of their age. But with Maisey, I'm in no rush with her. As I say, she's going to move up into an 8-rounder, and hopefully by the end of the year try and get her into a title fight.
Definitely, mate. Obviously exciting times for them as well, and both impressing as well. And the last one is Mr. 7-Up himself, Jimmy Sains as well. Been turned over in September, a lot of noise about him, and then kind of delivered with fights in September 30 on the Opataya Thompson undercard, and then also performed in Newcastle as well.
Yeah, that's right. 2 KOs from 2 fights, and he's another young man who's a young prospect, and he's going to fight on the Las Vegas undercard as well. It'll be a great experience for him. And yeah, looking forward to Jimmy progressing this year, and he's got a great future in front of him as well.
He definitely does, and I know that Conor's just about to start sparring as well, Tony, so thank you for giving me your time this morning, and again, thank you again for the session as well this morning. Absolutely killed me. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but that Versa climber is an absolute killer as well. Tony Sims, thank you very much, and yeah, looking forward to speaking to you soon, mate.
Thanks, Regan.
Cheers, mate.